Thank you for coming back on board. This is Pillars of History, and I'm Wise Frank, your host. Yeah, for those of you who thought that Ibrahim Traoré will negotiate his land for terrorists, you're in for it. And I'm sorry for you, because this might not be your video. You could easily scroll. Because if you know that you're one of the terrorist backers or its sponsors, alright, this is not your video because it will not suit your narrative and it will not suit your agenda. Yeah. So Ibrahim Traoré, in this video, Ibrahim Traoré was trying to answer about the terrorists and their negotiations of the territory. These terrorists always use the whole territories, the territories they occupy, as a tool for negotiation. So they negotiate with the government that is in power through force. So for the government to make some kind of peace, it has to negotiate with these terrorists, give them money not to attack the citizens. So the whole game was changed when the military governments came to power in the AES states. In Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, those were heavily affected areas in the Sahel. They were the ones that were mostly attacked. So the soldiers were fed up with this kind of politicians who were negotiating with the terrorists to hold on attacks on them. Let's see the video.
We do not negotiate. Not a single centimeter of that territory will be negotiated. We won't give anything for a single penny from taxpayers. If the taxpayer gives us a penny, we prefer to buy weapons rather than negotiate. I think we've put that in people's heads to keep us in the war for a long time. It allows us to bounce back to something that we are forced to say, maybe we don't have the intention. I think that in 2020, there were negotiations to hold the elections. So, we journalists, I suppose you've been following along and you know what that feels like? Maybe there are some things you don't know, but for us as fighters, it really hurts. We were on a detachment in 2020. We received the instructions to stop everything that is kinetic operation. That means we no longer leave our bases. We remain static. Already it's a pain. It hurts the fighters, the soldiers to see that. They told us we were taunted. The terrorists taunted us, asking those who were in Kelbo at the time. They called the villagers to tell them, to show them the money in suitcases, to come and tell the military that the government can't fight them. They negotiate with them. They even gave them money. There you go. That's what they came to tell us. So to come and tell the military and the VDP to lay down their arms, people are alive. You can find out. And those who forced them to go out at that time, there were soldiers who were punished. Those who were in Berzanga, they are witnesses. The VDP members were attacked, and they had 3 casualties. The detachments went out to help them bring them back. They were attacked. They were not supported. And worse, they said, who told them to go out? Many people experienced this situation. It undermined their fighting spirit. So the soldiers were discouraged. They no longer knew what that blow was, and it persisted. So much so that people go out in detachments just to sit around. That's the first problem it caused. Secondly, the money that was given to the terrorists, because of that, people saw it. Even those who are in Djibouti can testify. The vehicles that were coming back and forth were able to continue towards Masumu with suitcases. There you go. Maybe in the Air Force, you will have proof. The money was taken out. They took that money. They got equipped. They settled in well. It was from that moment that we started to hear children's voices. At the station, because they paid a lot for transmission, they created a network. And once the network was well established and stabilized, they started to destroy all the pylons. We, our people, can no longer alert us. And them, since they have another communication system, they started to destroy the entire communication system that existed. The third negative thing, it cut the link between us and the population. Can you imagine? They tell you, it's interesting, the population. Can you imagine?
That is the video. Ibrahim Traoré made it very clear. I will not negotiate even a single penny of any territory, of the Burkinabe territory, with terrorists. They have only 2 options. You either lay down your arms or go on with your missions and we engage you. Whether you're supported by the so-called your sponsors, I will not mention them here, it's okay. Fight us, we are going to engage you. They have lost a large swath of land. they previously occupied. The previous governments could negotiate with these kind of people to relieve the people, because these terrorists were attacking people, killing young children, killing pregnant women, doing everything that you couldn't even imagine. They could do barbaric attacks and devastating attacks on the civilian populations in order to hurt the government and make these attacks as a tool for negotiation, so the governments could back down what they were asking for. So these terrorists were even paid by the government not to attack. The Western media were also paid not to paint a bad picture, but the fact is that the civilians or the person on the ground was suffering too much. People had lost lives, to reach at an extent whereby you find that your existence in this world doesn't mean anything. So the Sahel, the people of the Sahel, have regained hope under the military regimes that are there. The military regimes, whether in Mali, Burkina Faso or Niger, they made it very clear. Bro, we are on the ground. We know you. We know how you fight. Because you always use these guerrilla tactics. They attack and run. They attack, kill, devastate, run. But the military that are in power are the ones that were engaging such kind of people. So that's why they are not bothered. Whether you threaten or not, we will engage you. We have to defeat you. Traoré made it very clear. Until the last terrorist, we will not be calm. We have to eliminate him until the last terrorist. Yeah, that's what they are doing. So let's give them applause and we thank them for the good work. Leave alone the Western media that portray the military leaders as inefficient, as doing nothing. So don't care about them. That is their work and that's what they are paid to do. So don't care about them. If you see that more than 50 soldiers have been killed, of course, you just know that that is a propaganda. That is a propaganda. On this channel, I will not tell you anything that is not fact-checked. I do research. I even obtain information from the ground people. If they say that there is an attack in Gibo, of course I have to contact the people in Gibo to give me the accurate information to report. I don't rely on Western media. I don't rely on African channels. Most of the African channels are paid to do the same work. Yeah, the ones we trust, like the Nigerian channels and some other African prominent media, they are also doing the same work. Of course, they receive funds from the EU, from US, and elsewhere. So that's what they tell them, you should report this one because you receive funds from us. You cannot report any achievement from the Burkina Faso. No, that one doesn't suit our narrative. We have to report a negative thing. At least let the JNIM stage something fishy that they have done an attack, like in a bush. They try to gun, you see bullets or fire. You report about that and see that more than 60 soldiers have been killed. Yet there is no any single soldier who has been killed. And even the government even is not aware about what you're talking about. So that is how they do things. Yeah. Thank you for being with us. That was Traoré.